Welcome to week 2. I'm going to record a short video for you with some general week 2 information, and I'll record another specific video on some of the skills, tips and tricks, things that you might need in order to do the capstone project that is due this week. Okay, so first off, in general, I know this is our first full week of class here, only do what is listed in Blackboard. There's a lot listed in Cengage, so definitely do not jump over to Cengage and start just completing assignments there. Only what's in Blackboard. And I will show you what I mean when we get to that portion of this video. Second, stay organized. Okay, keep up with your own calendar, your own schedule, and please scatter these assignments throughout the week. Okay. Third, check your email every single day. Check your email. That ensures that you're getting all announcements and information from me. Okay. And finally, watch all of the videos that I post and share before scheduling any appointments with me. Okay. I shared a welcome video last week that had a lot of general information on navigating the course and general course policies. So make sure that you watch that video. It's both in your email and it's also in the Start Here area of the Blackboard course shell. Okay. So specifics for this week. We are going to try and get Word finished up this week. Now I know that we've had some folks get a late start because last week was a short week and we do have a holiday this week, so I know that there are things that get in the way of that. But our goal is to try and finish Word this week. There are several trainings this week, one capstone project, your test and your reflection. Okay. All of the Word assignments need to be finished before you can take your test. You can go ahead and schedule the test, but you won't be able to get your password and get started on it until I see that all of the Word assignments have been completed successfully. So at least a passing grade on all of the Word assignments and the reflections submitted. Those have to be done before you can take your Word test. Now, if you don't get the Word test done this week and we schedule it for next Monday, that's fine. Okay. That's absolutely fine. That doesn't mean, though, that you can't go ahead and get started on the Excel assignments that are coming up following Word. You don't have to wait to get started on those until you take and pass your Word exam. Keep in mind for that first test, it is password protected. You need to schedule using my booking link in the Start Here area and at the bottom of my emails. You'll use that booking link tool to schedule an appointment with me. Make sure that you put test is the purpose of it, and I will schedule your Teams meeting for taking that first test. Okay. For the reflection, make sure you read all of those instructions, okay, before you actually get started on actually writing it. Maybe jot down a few notes as you're working through the trainings or the project so you have something to write about. So let's take a look at our Blackboard week. Okay. Here we are in our Blackboard course, week 2. Remember, all of our assignments, all of the textbook links and instructional videos and everything are in the course content area, course content from the main menu in Blackboard, okay? And just like I mentioned in the welcome video, all of our weeks are organized like this. Textbooks and supporting materials, including video tutorials that I might record and place in here, are here in this area. This is just a placeholder, so don't try clicking on this because there's nothing there. This is chapter links that will open up your textbook for you to reference. So if you're working on a project and there was one little thing you couldn't remember how to do, it's probably faster to go directly to the textbook instead of trying to dig through the training materials that you've done in order to find where you did that. Okay, either way that works for you is fine. Underneath that, in this area, assignments, again, this actual item here is not clickable. It's just a section breaker. We've got several trainings this week, managing tables and lists and so on. So make sure you go through all of the trainings. And then here is your capstone project assignment. This is the first one for this week that you'll be downloading a file, following some instructions, and then resubmitting the file. And I will be recording a video on that separate from this one. Okay. Underneath that, we have your reflection instructions. Please notice the instructions here for the length and the formatting and the content for the reflections. They need to be as specific as possible, citing some of the specific skills that you have learned in Word and how you think you might use those specific things in future classes or in your career, either way. Notice you've got 2 options here, either a written reflection or you can record a video reflection. And I've given you a link here to a tool that will allow you to do that. Either one, make sure that you're following the guidelines for length and format. Okay. Once all those things are finished, you can schedule your appointment to take your word test. So there's some notes here in Blackboard. This is the link to the test. It is password protected, so it won't do you any good to actually follow the link until you've actually scheduled your appointment. There's a document here for you to download on how exams or tests operate. So please take a look at that well before test date, so you know what to expect on test day, especially this first time. Once you experience your first test, not that big a deal, but this is your first time, so definitely take a look at these instructions. Below that, here's an exam overview video. This video will show you what the exam looks like on the inside when you're actually taking the exam. It's also in a simulated environment, but it's still a little different from the trainings that you've been doing. So familiarizing yourself with the way the screen is laid out and where the instructions are and how it actually operates will be beneficial to you before you get started on your quiz. Okay, so remember I talked about making sure that you only do the assignments that are in Blackboard and not going straight to Cengage. So you'll notice this week you have 4 trainings assigned and 1 capstone project. These are all the things that are assigned for this week. But I'm going to go ahead and go over to Cengage. One point. Remember, when you click these links, you have to disable any pop-up blockers that you have, otherwise it won't let anything open. It typically will open in a new tab, but depending on how your system settings and your browser settings are set, it might actually open a new window. So be watchful for that. It's either a new tab or a new window. Make sure pop-up blockers are enabled. So if you go over to Cengage, see, you've got all of these different areas here for different topics. We know we're working on Word, so I'm going to expand that. Within that, you've got several different modules to look at, and within each module, there are links to assignments, to practice exams, to all kinds of things here. Okay, so you are not assigned to do all of these things. So please make sure that you are only doing the things that are listed in Blackboard for you to do. Okay, because I'm not going to substitute something that you did by mistake for an assignment that's actually assigned to you. So make sure you're only doing what you're supposed to do. So one last thing, let's take a look at the project, the capstone project, and getting prepared for that. Okay, here we are. Once you click the link for one of your project videos, it's going to open up the assignment in Cengage. And once you actually click to start the assignment, you're presented with a window that looks like this. Now, in this very first pane, you'll notice we've got several things to download: the instruction file, the start file, which is what you're supposed to start your assignment with. So you'll open this up and then start following these instructions. And then sometimes you will have supporting files. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. This particular one does have 2 supporting files. And looking at the file types, we've got a Word document with some text in it, and we do have an image file that you're going to need in order to complete your actual project assignment. Now, feel free to start these project assignments earlier in the week. I wouldn't recommend trying to skip steps, but you might be able to work as you go, save it, do a couple of trainings, come back to the project, do a couple of more steps, and then do a couple of more trainings. There's no reason for you to feel like you need to sit down, open up a Word project or Excel project, and do it start to finish in one sitting. It's a document that you are editing live. Okay, so feel free to start it on Monday, do a few steps, save it, close it, do some trainings, come back on Wednesday and do a little bit more work. So the instruction file, let me pull that document over here for you so you can see what that actually looks like. Here we go. I'm trying to find my mouse. I've got multiple screens. Okay. So when you download the instruction file, you can see that we have some information here at the top. This is basically telling you what files that you need to make sure are downloaded and you know where they are, which typically it's in a downloads folder, and how you're supposed to save your file, because it needs a very specific file name in order for you to upload it back to Cengage for auto grading. Okay, and it will grade it for you right away. All right, below that, these are the actual project steps, the way it says right here. So step 1, it tells you to do this particular task and then do that particular task. If you are going to do this in stages, I would recommend highlighting tasks as you finish them. Okay, that way when you come back to it on Wednesday, you know exactly where you left off and where to pick up. Okay. One other thing that I want to mention to you is at the very end of these instruction documents, I'm scrolling all the way to the end, at the very end, they all will show you what your finished product should look like. And this can be very helpful if you're not quite sure where the instructions are telling you to insert a table or insert an image or something like that. Sometimes it'll tell you to click in a particular spot and type a brand new sentence or phrase. And this image here, this sample, can be very helpful in figuring out where the instructions are asking you to put these things. Do not just jump to the end of this instruction document and just start trying to recreate what you see here. That is absolutely not what you should do. Like, for example, with this particular image, this box up here at the top, it could be a lot of things that you don't know until you're actually reading the instructions. This could be a text box or a rectangle that has shading in it and text added to it. It could also be a table with, you know, one column over here and one column over here. And so you're going to miss this if you don't actually follow the instructions and do exactly the steps that it tells you to do. Okay. Again, I've got another video coming with some key points for this particular project. So once you're finished with it, you save your project and you're going to go back to Cengage, follow the Cengage link, start the assignment. When you come back to it a second time, you probably won't see this step 1 anymore because you've already been there. It remembers that you did that already. You'll probably be focused on this stage right here to actually upload your file. Drag and drop it, or click here to browse folders and find the file. Right here, it is telling you the exact file name that it is expecting you to upload. And if what you are trying to upload isn't exactly this, you're going to get error messages. Okay, so make sure that you're naming your file correctly. All you should need to do, honestly, is when you open your starter file, you're just going to change this number 1 right here to a number 2, and that's it. That's all you're doing. Okay. Once you get that uploaded and it's happy, you're going to actually tell it to submit for grading, and it will right away give you your score for this particular thing. If you don't like the score that you received for it, you can do this again and resubmit the file. That's absolutely fine. If the score is good enough, let's say you made a 75, you know you can do better, but 75 is passing. Go ahead and schedule your word exam. If you've got all of the other things done, you can come back to this at any point before the course closes in August and redo any of these assignments to improve your grade. You just need to make sure you have a passing grade in order to qualify to take the test. So 70 or better for the assignments is good enough to actually take the test. If you want to come back later on and redo, when you get the grade, it will provide you a link for you to actually see the grade report, and it will tell you specifically what you missed. So you could go back and fix those specific things that you missed and re-upload the file and improve your grade. Okay. So that's it for the general week 2 intro. Go back to Blackboard and check out any specific recordings that I've made for this particular capstone project.